Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman.
Rodman battling for the rebound, saving it in.
Tony Kukoc.
Off comes into Tony. Look out, it's on line. Yeah! Bulls win!
Ron Harper.
Going coast to coast. Oh, yeah!
They would be better players today in
What's
my
unique
opinion.
about this particular dynasty?
I guess what's unique is that we've got Michael.
And the Chicago Bulls have won their first ever NBA championship. Here's Jordan for three. Yes! Chicago Bulls have won the NBA championship for the second straight season. To Steph. Here's Paxson for three. Yes! The Bulls, three straight NBA championships. The Chicago Bulls have won the 95-96 NBA championship. In regulation, the impact.
Behind the screen. Harper got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their sixth NBA championship, and it's their second three-peat.
What makes a championship team? Is it the defense, the coaching, good bench? Maybe. But at the end of the day, all you need is the most important piece. That's superstar. Not just any superstar, the superstar. Build around him. Surround him, not just with dogs, but with wolves. And of course, add a genius to control them all. With that, you can have a dynasty. The greatest dynasty in NBA history.
Sports issues of the day on the simulcast of CNN-SI.
Can win it. A 2-0 tie, and Weatherspoon turns it over.
Today, we're going to find out how the 90s Bulls broke the NBA and how they became the greatest team ever. Every championship team has a superstar. That superstar can change the tide of battle when everything goes wrong. The Lakers had Magic. Boston got Bird. Cleveland got Bron. The Warriors had Curry. A superstar that can single-handedly shift the momentum, shift the narrative. And for the Bulls, they got the perfect man for the job, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. There are two types of leaders in the NBA. The motivator is the one who can uplift his teammates and who's always going to tell you to keep your head up. Then there's Michael Jordan. Ever since MJ got drafted in '84 by the Bulls, everyone knew that it was going to be his league. 28.2 points, 6.5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2.4 steals per game as a rookie in the 80s? Could have won the first ever rookie MVP if the Bulls weren't so trash back then.
Point blank, I never seen nobody play like he plays, and you can include all of them.
That wasn't Michael Jordan out there. It was God disguised as Michael Jordan.
The league got a glimpse of what MJ was capable of in the first round of the 1986 playoffs, when he dropped 63 points against the super team of Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics at TD Garden.
Christmas. They sure didn't. That was the Christmas massacre, but the troops are back.
Jordan from the Woolridge has been nice goal. Jordan against Dennis Johnson. Jordan. 3:15 to go. Jordan inside to Woolridge. Basket good and a foul. Setting a screen. Johnson trying to fight through it on a switch. Bird guards Jordan, and Jordan hits the jumper anyway. Long range. Jordan hit. And the Bullets have regained the lead over Philadelphia 79-75. The Celtics, meanwhile, have scored 6 in a row. Jordan is 8 for 8 from the line. Big team to beat the Celtics in the Garden this year. Harris, McHale, offensive rebound. Knocked out of bounds. Celtics wanted goaltending. Jordan working against Dennis Johnson. Clock running down. 3 seconds. Three-point shot. No good. And a foul. Late Swait. A foul against Kevin McHale has been called by Middleton. Overtime in game 2 of our best of 5. Situation becomes major now, as we have a slew of single-game effort in playoff history. Long range, Jordan hits it. Celtics with the best record in the league, 67-15. They're this close. 3 on the shot clock. Jordan, basket, good, and a foul's out with 15 points. Ainge guarding Michael Jordan. Jordan goes up with a shot and hits it, and has 61 points to tie Elgin Baylor's all-time single-game playoff record with 8 on the clock. Jordan ties the game.
Oh, boy.
63 points, and you're looking at an all-time record.
How about the shot in Game 5 of the 1988 playoffs in the face of Craig Elo and the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Gets the ball from Hugh Evans. He looks. He gives to Jordan. Jordan to the circle, puts the shot in the air. Go!
But everything he did up to that shot was discredited all over the NBA. The man does not have a chip. He's not the man yet if he can't bring that elusive trophy to the Windy City. Many said that his flashy style and high-flying dunks weren't winning basketball. Let's just say MJ took all of that personally. It's not just MJ's style of play that changed. In fact, he was still as dominant as ever. He can still score any way he wants to. What changed was his leadership. His intensity was dialed up to 100. He did not condone mediocrity. He wanted to win. He was hungry, and he became a tyrant.
People were afraid of him. We were his teammates whom we were afraid of him, and there was just fear.
Yeah, let's not get it wrong. He was a jerk, but as time goes on and you think back about what he was actually trying to accomplish, you're like, yeah, he was a hell of a teammate.
I used to work out with the 76ers. I used to ask him, man, what's it like to guard Mike? You go, Mike? You mean Black Jesus? Oh, we call him Black Jesus. Or you can call him Black Cat.
I was terrified out there.
Were you really?
Yeah.
You scared of MJ?
Yeah.
That's not new. Michael Jordan wasn't human.
He punched Steve Kerr in the face, bullied Bill Cartwright for the rest of his career, and making team practices like the NBA Finals. The way he leads rubbed many people the wrong way, but the Chicago Bulls needed that. What was that saying? When it rains, it pours? Well, for the Bulls, it was a hurricane. And at the eye of the storm was not just Michael's new form of leadership. No, at the eye of it all was the brain of arguably the greatest coach of all time, Phil Jackson. After falling short once again to the bad boy Pistons, Phil Jackson took the head coaching position for Chicago, his first ever in the NBA. Phil raised eyebrows. He hasn't proved anything yet, just like MJ in 1989. Both have massive weights around their shoulders. For Phil, his solution for the Bulls was just simple: getting the ball off Michael Jordan, getting the ball off your best player. Then he introduced the legendary triangle offense. Basically, the triangle is an offense that focuses primarily on isolation and post-up scoring, putting 3 of your players in a constant triangle formation on the offense. A team running this offense should have a great feel for their teammates and an unbreakable chemistry. That's exactly what Phil Jackson brought to Chicago. He brought an entire new culture to that Chicago locker room.
The triangle offense is set so that there's a key pass that creates motion. And then there's 33 different types of options that come out of that single pass. Players can do spontaneous, creative things using their strengths.
He does not have that playbook that only caters to Michael. No, it caters to the whole team. And when a coach trusted his role players like he trusted his number one guy, great things were bound to happen. Under Phil Jackson's coaching philosophy and MJ's leadership, bench warmers became role players. Role players became stars. Stars became superstars. And MJ became the GOAT. And it's impossible to create a Bulls dynasty video without mentioning the greatest sidekick of all time, Scottie Pippen. Pip was hands down the perfect complement to Michael Jordan. Standing at 6'8" with a frightening 7'3" wingspan, Pip was an offensive nightmare. His long reach caused troubles around the league. And of course, that freakish athleticism. He can finish around the rim with ease, navigate through defenses, and make the right reads. He may not be the best shooter, but you can bet he can make those jump shots fall when it matters the most. Imagine Pippen having to guard you, and for the next possession, it was Michael's turn to hunt you down. But there's worse, way worse. Let's say, yes, you got past Pippen or MJ at the top of the key, just for this man to meet you on the rim with the meanest intention, Dennis Rodman.
Rodman battling for the rebound, saving it in, and Kerr snatches it out of the air.
Do you remember your first meeting with Rodman?
That was awful.
Last week, the Bulls announced the acquisition of a player many people consider the most controversial basketball star in the NBA. He is Dennis Rodman, one of the best rebounders in NBA history. Is it one of the shrewdest moves the Bulls have ever made, or one of the dumbest?
Of all the offseason moves in the NBA, none got more attention than San Antonio's trade of Dennis Rodman to the Chicago Bulls. The planet's best rebounder is also one of its most eccentric characters, and therein lies the dilemma for those who have dealt with the worm.
What about your new teammate, Dennis Rodman? How has that gotten along? What's the chemistry between you two?
Dennis is going to be fine. You know, we asked Dennis to come on this basketball court and give us 110%.
Every championship team needed a Dennis Rodman, that all-around guy who can dive for every loose ball and who isn't afraid to sacrifice his body in every possession, who can battle for every rebound. Those championship plays. Rodman was MJ's old arch nemesis against the bad boy Pistons, and that was just the connection they needed. There's a certain respect between these two fierce competitors, and that respect turned into trust. MJ trusted his teammates more than anyone. He knew their limits. He pushed them. There's a reason why some of these Bulls players in the 1990s were only heard when they played in Chicago. Guys like John Paxson, who made the championship-winning three in the 1993 NBA Finals. MJ made a play and knew that Pax was going to be open, and Pax hit the shot.
It has come down to this possession.
They want Michael to get a full head of steam, try to keep him in the middle of the floor.
Well, Pippen got the snap. Here's Paxson for three. Yes!
When Pax retired, he got reincarnated by the name of Steve Kerr, who also hit the greatest shot of his entire life on the biggest stage of them all, when he hit that cold-blooded jump shot in Game 6 of the 1997 Finals.
5 on the 24. Here's Jordan. Did not have the shot. Kerr does.
Who could have forgotten B.J. Armstrong, Tony Kukoc, and even Luke Longley? These guys played 100 times better under the system of Phil Jackson and under the wing of Michael Jordan. These players made the 1990s Chicago Bulls so legendary. Sure, Michael Jordan made them better, but all of them made MJ better too. Well, the greatest dynasty of all time cannot just be defined by one player. From the personnel in the staff room, to the bench players, to the coaching staff, even the management too. The Last Dance certainly threw a lot of shade at then GM Jerry Krause and made him a villain. There might be some truth to it, but you cannot deny that Jerry Krause assembled the greatest team of all time. He surrounded Michael with players that could catch up to his airness. But it's not just what these legendary Bulls teams did on the court. No, they also had a massive effect that was greater than basketball. How did MJ and this Chicago Bulls team help the NBA generate billions? How did they impact the game we love today? And who really was this dynasty's biggest threat back in the 90s?
This is what the Jordan rules were. On the wings, we're going to push him to the elbow, and we're not going to let him drive to the baseline.
Goes down the lane, hard to the basket, up he goes, down he goes, a shot.
Number two, when he's on top, we're going to influence him to his left.
The Pistons will force him to come to the middle of the floor off the dribble, trying to get help from the next defender.
When he got the ball in the low post, we're going to trap him from the top.
Isolation play for Jordan. And Isaiah Thomas ties it up.
What happens when he does make a baseline?
We knock him down to the ground.
And as you can see, bleeding quite a bit.
Jordan just, and Jordan goes down hard, and he looks hurt. Oh.
The ruthless bad boy Pistons. The Pistons were a problem back then, giving Jordan absolute hell in '89 and '90. But when Phil Jackson and the Bulls truly mastered the triangle offense in '91, they got their payback, sweeping the Pistons and starting their own dynasty in the process. Who could forget Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons walking off the court?
The Pistons just left. That's a
I think it was very difficult for them because they were two-time champions. But, there certainly has to be some respect.
They beat us soundly. At that time, we were mad. We were upset. At that time, we meant it. Was it unsportsmanlike? Yes. Was it the wrong thing to do? Yes.
Since then, many legacies have been trampled by MJ and the Bulls, especially Hall of Famer Patrick Ewing and the gritty New York Knicks in the 90s. The Bulls eliminated the Knicks from playoff contention 4 times in the 1990s. In the 92 playoffs, the Knicks had the Bulls on the ropes, pushing the champs to Game 7. But who else but MJ would shut all their hopes down? His airness dropped a monstrous 42 points to help the Bulls defend their title.
Here's Jordan. Up by hitting their first 3 shots. Here is Jordan. 6 for 6 from the line for 16 points. The foul called on Stark. Oh, 40 games of the series with the flu. Sat out Thursday night with a bad throw. Here's Jordan splitting through. Jordan with the steal. Oh, what a spin by Jordan. Life Danner, Dennis Farina. That's coming your way. The Chicago Bulls have defeated the New York Knicks 110-81.
Even if everything was going wrong in the Windy City, as long as MJ was there, they would always be the favorites. But sometimes even the GOAT needed his teammates to extend his legacy. Game 6, 1997 NBA Finals, Bulls vs. Jazz. Bulls legend Steve Kerr hit the greatest shot of his life.
Looking for Michael Jordan. Checks the clock. 5 on the 24. Here's Jordan. Did not have the shot.
In the face of 2 defenders, MJ trusted his best shooter to hit the shot of a lifetime and captured the Bulls' 5th title in 7 years. The level of trust given by Phil and MJ to the entire Bulls team made them 1,000 times better, especially the other stars, Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman. Pippen and Rodman were the perfect teammates for Mike. Who could forget Rodman's stellar performance in Game 2 of the 1996 Finals? 10 points and 20 rebounds. Rodman was everywhere that night. He was a menace on the boards, and the clutch free throw too. Absolute masterclass. Pippen also had his fair share of great games, perfectly complementing Mike. His status as a star was cemented in Game 5 of the 1991 playoffs against the Lakers, where he scored 32 points to clinch their first ever title.
He taught me how to stay in the gym, and he spent a lot of time starting to build the confidence that I needed.
Pippen became my focal point.
More than any other player, Scottie benefited from playing with Michael Jordan because Scottie had this raw athletic ability.
Now, to answer the million-dollar question, out of all the teams that tried to take down the Bulls dynasty, who was their greatest threat? Well, it might be an unpopular opinion, but Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns gave them a tough series. Just take a look at this. The average margin in the 1993 NBA Finals was just 4.7 points per game, the lowest in NBA Finals history. In all 6 games, the games were decided by 10 points or less. The grueling series was capped by one cold-blooded shot by Bulls legend John Paxson to end the Suns' historic season.
Pippen got the step. Here's Paxson for 3. Yes! The Bulls take a 1-point lead, and Phoenix calls for time with 3 and 9.
The Bulls and the Suns were only separated by a point in a potential Game 7 clash in Phoenix. But that defines the tenacity of the 1990s Bulls. Sir Charles, the reigning MVP, was just a monster in that series. 27.3 points, 13 rebounds, and 5.5 assists per game. A wrecking machine. Well, MJ just averaged 41, 9, and 6 in that series. You can tell Mike was just a few levels above.
Game 2, I played as well as I could play.
Barkley from the outside. Barkley. Barkley. Barkley's Phoenix.
And Michael just outplayed me. That was probably the first time in my life that I felt like there was a better basketball player in the world than me, to be honest with you.
It does feel good to have the best player in the world on your team. Since November 7, 1990, the season the Bulls won their first championship, they have not lost 3 in a row since MJ was playing up until his last shot on June 14, 1998. That's just insane. That clearly signifies their dominance in the 1990s. Their supremacy started in 1991 when they demolished the opposition with a 15-2 record in the playoffs, the best record for a team winning their first championship, the start of an era. The era was highlighted by their legendary 1995-1996 NBA season with their historic 72-10 record. The Bulls hold the record for the best combined regular and postseason record in NBA history at 87-13. They also had the third largest margin of victory in history. In their 6 championship runs, they won 80% of their games. 80%. Their last 3 seasons were more phenomenal, with a 203-43 record, the best 3-season record in NBA history. After the Bulls won their last championship in 1998, their record drastically dipped in 1999, winning just 13 games in the lockout season, dropping to last in the Eastern Conference. The organization has never won the championship again. The Bulls were more than just a basketball team in the 1990s. They became an entire culture. It was like having a Beatles concert 90 nights every year. The energy in the Bulls arena was electric. Even MJ getting off the bench to check in was enough to get the whole crowd crazy. Even at away games, they were cheering for Mike and the Bulls. They were basically rock stars, and the 90s were the perfect time for it. The internet was beginning to emerge, and the media used that to hype the Bulls up. It was during this time that many turned their eyes to basketball. The Bulls paved the way for the NBA to expand globally. MJ in Chicago took the league to new heights. In 1991, the average salary of NBA players was $870,000. By 1999, it was $3 million. That's a 300% increase in a 9-year span. In 1998, the value of all 29 NBA teams was $6 billion. Michael Jordan alone had an estimated $10 billion of impact on the US economy. Everything MJ touched turned to gold. Of course, there is the MJ effect. The Bulls were valued at $16 million before they drafted Michael. After MJ left, they were worth $307 million. Now, for all the youngsters out there who are wondering and probably witnessed the Golden State era, were the Bulls dynasty hated by basketball fans? Well, of course there were some haters. Winners always have haters. But they were overpowered by how popular and liked the Bulls were. You could go anywhere in the world and see people rocking Bulls gear. Why? Well, most basketball fans started watching basketball because of the Bulls. They were the reason why basketball took off. The Chicago Bulls dynasty is one of the greatest dynasties in American sports. Everything was just perfect, from the coach, the role players, the sidekick, the glue guys, and of course, the superstar among superstars, Michael Jordan. Now it's time to share your thoughts. Could the Bulls have won the championship in '99 if Jerry Krause hadn't blown up the team? Will there ever be another dominant dynasty like the 90s Bulls? Share your comments down below, and as always, thank you for watching.